When I was on faculty at Columbia Seminary, one of my colleagues was diagnosed with breast cancer that was quite invasive, requiring serious treatment over a long period of time. Upon receiving the immediate news, the community, as you would expect, rallied, surrounding our colleague, her spouse, and her young daughters in all the ways communities do in the midst of acute crisis. As all of us settled into the reality of the situation and what it was going to be for some time to come, many of our efforts became more organized so we could be truly effective, efficiently filling the needs and wishes of our colleague and of this family. An organized meal schedule was set up and put in place with clarity about what foods would be the most helpful, how much to bring on your given day, and the best time to arrive with hot meal in hand. Our colleagues' teaching and committee and administrative responsibilities were divided up among others among us. Several would go and sit for a while listening and talking. In the early days, especially those who had the skills to provide direct care, or who could speak to the situation and answer questions from their own personal experience. Sometimes children were taken for a while to do something fun, if just for a few hours, or to provide an opportunity for asking some questions or talking in ways that perhaps they felt they could not in the presence of their mom. In due time, to our great relief and delight, Beth was able to join us again, joyfully returning to all of her faculty responsibilities. And I remember the first faculty meeting after Beth was back among us. She, of course, thanked us graciously and generously for the meals and the help with the children, support of her life partner, the encouragement received in many ways, and everything else that she could think of. Then Beth, our faithful spiritual colleague Beth, looking around the room of gathered faculty, said the most important, profound words. When you just cannot pray, it's important and good to know the community is praying. It surprised me just a little to hear this from Beth. There was a silence in the room. A few more words were spoken in response, and then we went on with our meeting, but Beth's words lingered, at least for me. At some time in each of our lives, you, we, all of us, will probably come to a place where we simply cannot pray. No matter how faithful we have been, how many ways we know how to pray, how deep and how broad our experience with God has been, or how many spiritual resources we have. Perhaps some of us have already been in this place a time or two or more. When you simply cannot pray, it is richly good, deeply important to know somewhere, someone, the community, your community, is praying. 4th Street at Prayer is much more than our Lenten theme for 2011. We're not over and done with this now that Lent has come and gone. 4th Street at Prayer indeed needs to be our way of life, infusing our beings as individuals and as a community. It needs to be our way of life as we support one another, living together, growing into divine love, and as we follow the Spirit into God's call on our life, on the life of this faith community, as we learn to be stronger and a more vital faith community, and as we move into Detroit to be a transforming force. We need each other because life can be tough, the road can be rocky, and there is no way to know what lies ahead on the journey. There may be times along the way when you cannot pray. I mean, really, truly pray. When the person sitting next to you cannot pray. When the visitor who comes through our door cannot pray. When the person sitting out on the street cannot pray. There may be a time when any one of us will find we just simply can find no possible way to express the depths of our being, to know the movement or presence of God in our lives. It is especially important in these times, and it is good and crucially important to know that others in the community, others in your community, whoever they are holding you in their hearts, praying in whatever ways are useful and meaningful to them and for you, and to know they're standing with you. It is good. It is important. It is absolutely crucial to know they will continue praying all the time that you cannot, ready to welcome you anytime when you are ready, anytime you again are ready and able to take your place in the community, praying for those others who on this day, for whatever reason, just simply cannot pray. Prayer is not so much asking as it is the longing of the soul to be in communion with divine love, to unite our souls in genuine, transforming community with one another. Let's continue to be 4th Street at prayer beyond our season of Lent. Thanks be to God. Amen.